Hey everyone, working on word problems today, like I talked about yesterday. Um, Gonna run through them, do a couple of examples for you, maybe just one, maybe two, and then have you work on a bunch of them as we go through. Again, I just want you entering the answers in Edpuzzle. Remember, they're supposed to be sentences, but you don't have to do them in sentences. So let's get started. So the most important part of the word problems is to read the word problem and pull the information out that's going to help us solve the equation. There are really two steps that I talk about when I do it the way I do it, and when you're reading the word problems, and they are, I read the last sentence first. Usually the last sentence is what tells you what you're looking to find, which will help you define the variable when you kind of get into the solving the word problems. Then I go back and read the whole problem, highlighting any information I need. So when we look at the example of what you have here, pull a highlighter out. We're going to read this through, and I read the last sentence first. Last sentence, the last part of the sentence. How many of each item did you buy? So we're going to be buying something. I don't know what it is yet because I haven't read the equation, the word problem, but at least I know we're buying something. So now I go back and say, we have $301 to spend, word problem math. I'm going to highlight that because it's a number. They're telling us we're spending it on shirts and pants. So now at least I know what we're buying. We're buying shirts and pants. So then it tells us if shirts cost $23 and pants cost $35, and you leave with 11 items, how many of each did you buy? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pull that kind of information out. We know as you're going through it, that's what you're going to do. Make sense? Okay. We're going to move through now and work on an example. And as we work on this example, we're going to kind of reveal the steps to what we're going to do. So the first step, read the word problem. Same thing. We read the last sentence first. How many children and how many adults attended? So we go back and read. The admission fee at a small fair is $1.50 for children and $4 for adults. Important part. On a certain day, 2,200 people entered the fair, and $5,050 was collected. So we've read the word problem. We've kind of underlined or highlighted the information that we think we're going to need. Let's go see what we need to do. Second step is to identify the variable and our information. So we've done that. Variable will always come from the last sentence. It's going to be what you're looking for. So we're looking for a number of children, number of adults. So I'm going to name my variable C equals children, A equals adults. I don't try to do X and Y in word problems because it helps me identify what I'm looking for. Rather than identifying X and Y, I get all the way to the end and not quite sure what's going to happen. At least now I know is when I'm working through my equations, I'm working with children and the adults as we go through. Okay. Next thing, create the equation. So now we have to kind of come up with our equations. So here we kind of go back and look at what we have. They've told us how much it costs for a kid. They've told us how much it costs for an adult. And then they've told us that on one day there was 2,200 people attended, and it cost, or the total collected was 5,500. So typically in a word problem, if you have money, dollar amounts, those are going to be one equation. So we're going to use our number. So 1.5 C, because that's how much it costs for a kid, plus 4A, that's how much it costs for an adult, equals $5,050. You also know there were 2,200 people attended one day, so then the total number of children is just straight up C, plus the total number of adults equals 2,200. That's what we're going to solve. So those are our two equations now. Now we go through and do our other steps. We use elimination usually because it's going to be complicated sometimes to solve for the variable. So here, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? What I am probably going to do in this one is I am going to multiply the bottom equation, let's say by -4. So that's going to give me my first equation. So 1.5C plus 4A equals 5,050. Multiply the bottom by -4, I get -4C minus 4A equals 8,800. negative 8800. We add those together. When we kind of do that math, we get negative 2.5c equals negative 3750. I know it's a weird problem. I kind of did this one as an example because it is weird. Some of these you are going to end up dealing with decimals. So now I divide 3750 by 2.5, and when I do that, my seed number becomes 1500. So that tells me there were 1500 kids that went to the fair that day. I'm going to plug that into my equation of the children plus adults. So 1500 plus A equals 2200. So A equals 700 kids, or adults, sorry. The last step we always want to work with is write the equation in a sentence, the answer in a sentence. So that would be, there were 700 adults and 1500 children that went to the fair. Does that make sense? Everybody see that? Those are the steps we're going to follow. I'm going to do one more example as we work through it to kind of do it. So you're always going to kind of follow those steps, okay? So here's the second example. You have $301 to spend on, again, shirts and pants. Oh, this is from the front page. So we already identified all our information. Shirts cost $23, pants cost $35. How many do we buy of each? We bought 11 things. So I'm going to make S equal shirts. P equals pants. And I got to create my equations. First one they tell me is, I know right away, shirts plus pants is going to equal $11. I also know that 23 times S plus 35 times P is going to equal 301. Make sense? Okay, I'm going to change the color up here just to kind of do my next step. I got to get rid of a variable. I'm going to multiply the top number by negative 23. And we end up with some really crazy numbers here. So I got minus 23S, minus 23P equals negative 23 times 11 is negative 230, negative 253. Does that make sense? Okay. Add my equations together. I get 12P equals 301 minus 253 is 48. Divided by 12. We find out that we bought 4 pairs of pants. Again, I got to go back. Shirts plus pants, which is 4, equals 11. So shirts equals 7. So I have my numbers. We bought 7 shirts and 4 pairs of pants. And that will be our equation, or our sentence, sorry. 7 shirts and 4 pants. Does that make sense? Everybody sees that? Okay. Next page. Okay. So here's what I'm actually going to do this one with you too, because it's a little bit different. I have some of these on the stuff we work on, but I want to show you what we're going to do with these. Here we're looking at numbers. They tell us we're trying to find the two numbers. They told us the sum of two numbers is 20. The difference between 3 times the first number and twice the second number is 40. So here I'm going to use X and Y because we really don't have any words. So I'm going to say X is the first number and Y is the second number. Make sense? Okay, my equations are x plus y equals 20, and then 3x plus 2y equals 40. So that's our equations. That's what they tell us. 3 times the first number, so 3 times x. This is 3 times x, so 3x. Twice the second number is 2x, and it equals 40, so we have that. Now we just go into our methods of solving. Going to multiply the top equation by -2. -2x minus 2y equals, I'm sorry, it was the negative. I did that again. This isn't, it's the difference. Sorry, that's the, nope, I'm messing this up again. Sorry about that. This is plus. This one should be minus. Because the difference equals 40. So it's 3x minus 2y. So then I just got to multiply by 2. Wow, awesome way to work on this problem. And again, this happens sometimes, so don't worry about it. You're just going to kind of go back and see my answers wouldn't have come out anywhere near what it should have been with what I needed to have. I want the blue box back. So it's 2x plus 2y equals 40. Sorry. There we go. So it's plus 2x, not minus 2x, too. Let me get rid of that. Now we just add our equations together like we have always done. We end up with 5x. The negative 2y, positive 2y go away. I'm left with 80. Divide by 5. X equals 16. Plug that back into our first equation. 16 plus y equals 20. So y equals 4. What I'm going to do is just for one last check, I'm going to plug these both into the middle equation. So I have 3 times 16 plus, oh sorry, again, made a mistake again, minus 2 times 4 minus 2 times 4 equals 40. 3 times 16 I know is 48. Negative 2 times negative 4 is minus 8, and that equals 40. So that's my answer. Again, write a sentence. The numbers are 16 and 4. Does that make sense? Okay. From here on, I want you to work on them. Again, we're going to go through. I want you to work on this one. Take a few minutes, identify your variables, figure out what the equations are, go through and solve it out, write your sentence, put the sentence into Edpuzzle, and then come back and check and see how you did. Okay, so this is what you should have got. I identified my variables. I'm going to kind of pick a color here to check stuff off as we go. I identified my variables. D equaled dimes, N equaled nickels. My original equations are 0.1D plus 0.05 N equals 330, and D plus N equals 42, because that's what they told us. I then multiplied the top equation by -10, trying to get rid of at least one set of decimal points. When I multiply -10 by 0.1, that just becomes -1, so I'm able to get rid of I'm able to get rid of dimes. I'm left with -0.5 and -33. Went through and found out that nickels was 18. So I had 18 nickels. I plugged that into the first equation to figure out that I had 24 dimes. And then just as that one last check, I plugged it into my equation to figure out does 24 dimes and 18 nickels actually add up to $3.30? And it did. So we had our solution and we were all good. Makes sense. Okay. Second one for you to try. Again, read the question, identify what the variables are, write the equations, solve the equations for the variables, check them if you need to, write the sentence, enter the sentence into Edpuzzle, and then come back and check and see how you did. Okay, so here we go on this one. My variables here were S and C for senior, dollars for seniors, the cost of a senior ticket, the cost of a child ticket. My two equations were 3S plus 1C equal 38, 3s plus 2c equals 52. I personally multiplied the first equation by -1 to get rid of the senior tickets as the variable. Left me with just straight up c equals 14. So I knew exactly what c equaled right off the bat. Plugged that back into my equations. I found out that the senior tickets were $8. Wrote my sentence. A senior ticket is $8. A child ticket is 14. Does that make sense? You may have recognized right away in this one, though, too, that it's 3 senior tickets, 3 senior tickets. So the only difference was that one extra child ticket. So then I would have just really, in a real world example, kind of looked at it and said, oh, wait, 52 minus 38 is 14. Kids' seats $14, and then been able to figure out how much the senior ticket was without even doing systems of equations. But in reality, that is what it would have been in the real world if that's how you did it. It's a systems of equation problem. Okay, one more for you. Again, it's more ticket sales. Again, identify the variables. Write your equations. Solve the problem. Write the sentence. Enter the sentence in the Edpuzzle. Come back and see how you did. Okay, again, S and C for senior and child. The easiest way for me to go. Unfortunately, this equation, there was 3 senior tickets and 9 kids tickets were $75, so that's 3S plus 9C equals 75. Next one was 8S plus 5C equals 67, so it's really not helping me out because it's not easy math to get rid of a variable. I again picked to get rid of senior tickets, so I multiplied the first equation by 8, second equation by -3, got rid of senior tickets, worked out 57 kids tickets are $399. So I solved that and I got that the kids tickets were $7. Plugged that back into one of the equations. I found out that the senior tickets were 5, and I just realized my solution is backwards. Senior tickets are 5. Child's tickets are 7. Apologize for that there. Does that make sense? All right. I believe this is the last one for you to work on. So again, identify the variable. What's the variable going to be? What are my equations going to be? Solve those equations. Write your name, write your answer in a sentence. On the tests, when we come back from vacation, there's a test. It's looking like it's going to be Friday, April 30th. Depends on how fast we can get through the review. But it should be the 30th. As we kind of go, it takes 4 days to kind of review everything we've covered up to that point. So on this one, enter your answer in Edpuzzle. Come back and see how you did. Okay, here's what we should have got. B and B for vans and buses were my equations. That's what I did. I always do these this way. Multiplied the first equation by -2 to get rid of the vans as we went through it. Found out that the buses held 22 students. Vans held at 8. Had my sentence. I actually did the sentence right on this one. And we're all good. So I think that was the last one. Yep, that was the last question. So like I said, enjoy your vacation. There's no homework tonight because you're on vacation, so there's no sense of having me give you homework. When we get back, on the Monday we get back, we're going to do a review of graphing and substitution method for this. Then on Tuesday, we'll do a review of elimination method as we're back together as a full class. Wednesday, there's no more half days, so Wednesday we'll be in class doing word problem review. We're just going to plug through some word problems, make sure we understand all the steps on how to do them. Thursday will be a full-on one last review for everything. And then Friday, like I say, will be the written testing class. And we'll start with the next unit the next week. So that whole week pretty much is going to be a review of everything we've covered leading up to vacation now. And we'll go from there. So like I say, have a good vacation, and I will see everybody on the Monday we get back.